This movie, it's not gonna kill you with fun, but it's gonna hurt you with joy, laughter, and fun. Really, really bad.
Hey guys, it's Daniel here, and I'm here today to review the newest addition to the DCEU, while also being the newest James Gunn superhero comedy film, The Suicide Squad. So the premise to The Suicide Squad is a bit complicated to talk about because the trailers don't really give a lot, and there is a lot going on in the film. But what I will say is that Amanda Waller and Rick Flag have accompanied a new team of supervillains, which include, of course, Harley Quinn herself, but also other supervillains to take care of the situation, including Bloodsport, Peacemaker, Polka Dot Man, Ratcatcher, King Shark, and many others, to take care of this evil organization creating monsters and all that. And it's a pretty freaking awesome movie from there on. Now, I have not seen the original Suicide Squad in quite a while, but when I last saw it, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was awesome, it was funny, the characters were hilarious, and the situations they got into were pretty cool to watch. And as I said earlier this year, I also kind of enjoyed Birds of Prey. I thought it was funny, but most of my good points of Birds of Prey come from Margot Robbie's portrayal as Harley Quinn. I just think she was born to play that role. So when I found out that they were going to make another Suicide Squad film, but this time it's a standalone sequel, it doesn't have much to do with the original film, or if not anything to do with the original film. So it piqued my curiosity because it seemed like it was going to handle a lot of the same elements that I really liked about the original Suicide Squad the last time I saw it. I mean, Margot Robbie was coming back as Harley Quinn, and again, I think she was born to play the role, but we also got new actors like Idris Elba and John Cena. Wow, the might have fallen. I was kind of enjoying to see it, but I haven't watched a lot of the trailers recently, so I never knew what to expect from The Suicide Squad. And as I said before, like a long time ago when I talked about one of the previews for this movie, I was kind of confused as to why it was called The Suicide Squad, as it seemed very replique to Suicide Squad. So I was interested to see the movie, but I wasn't expecting much to see from the movie since I haven't watched all of the trailers. So a few days ago, I went to the cinema to see The Suicide Squad. And what do I think of The Suicide Squad? Well done, James Gunn. Well done. That was an inappropriate rhyme. Still. Remember when I said that The Mitchells vs. the Machines was not only the funniest comedy of the year, but also the best comedy of the year? I think I might have spoke too soon. Hands down, the first and biggest praise I will give the movie is its acting and the characters. These have got to be the funniest DCEU villains / heroes I have ever seen. I mean, they were meta and hilarious to watch, but some of these characters also did have a bit of depth to them. Yeah, the film does have a bit of genuine stuff to the characters, but these characters are just so awesome, and the actors who portray them seem like they're having so much fun in their roles. Like, we got the new members to the cast, like Idris Elba as Bloodsport. Wow, he was fantastic in this movie. I was expecting this character to be a bit more serious and tough, bravery throughout the movie, but surprisingly, no. He had lots of embarrassing yet funny moments that made me burst out loud laughing. John Cena as Peacemaker, he was also fantastic in the movie. Polka Dot Man, it was hilarious, and he had this running joke about his guardian. I won't say what the joke is, but trust me, it's a running gag that just gets really funny as the film goes on. And it is kind of a gag that later appears in that climax, which I won't give away again. The two new members of the Suicide Squad that I personally really admire is Ratcatcher and King Shark. Those two had not only the best development in the film, but they also had the best chemistry in the entire movie, because Ratcatcher, in my opinion, is kind of the heart of the Suicide Squad team in this movie, because she actually has a bit of a caring side to her. She has a very admirable passion for rats and animals and all that, and she does try her best to help out the team. She has a fantastic backstory, and she does try to help King Shark, like, find a bit of self-worth and not afraid to show himself, because King Shark is also very genuine. And I know this is going to be really hateful for me to say, but I have not seen the Rocky movies or any of the Rambo movies, so please don't hate me and all. So I don't watch a lot of Sylvester Stallone, but Sylvester Stallone does a fantastic job in this film. As for the cast from the original Suicide Squad movie, they still do a fantastic job. Like Margot Robbie, Viola Davis, and Joel Kinnaman still do a fantastic job as Harley Quinn, Amanda Waller, and Rick Flag. They still have many funny moments, but also awesome moments that made me really admire them. Especially, again, Margot Robbie. I love you, woman. Seriously, you're just the clown princess of crime that I could really use, and I want to see more of you as Harley Quinn. Viola Davis is also fantastic in this movie, because just like in the original Suicide Squad, she means business. Like, when characters are messing around, she's like, I will not screw with you. I will blow your freaking heads off if you get out of line. And she came off as tough and menacing. I won't say what she does in the film, but she's awesome. And Rick Flag is still fantastic. He has a bit more of a relationship with the Suicide Squad, more than than he did in the first movie. Because in the first movie, he was just strict and serious with them. But now he's really grown to attach to Harley Quinn and all that. The comedy is so common denominator high. I mean, this movie does not hold back. It lives up to its R rating with its humour, because this movie makes some inappropriate humour that might offend some people, but to me, I love the hell out of it. I loved how the humour doesn't have any limitations, and they can basically do whatever they want, and these jokes do get lots of laughs, until you think about how disturbing they are, and then they get even more laughs. Especially the few interactions between Bloodsport and Peacemaker. Wow, these scenes are so friggin' hilarious. Harley Quinn and all that. The superhero cliches that they keep breaking. The pathetic uses of interrogation. I mean, this movie, it's friggin' hilarious. I had so much fun laughing so many times throughout the movie, and a lot of the people in my theatre, they were laughing hysterically as well. I forgot to mention earlier that the characters in the movie have actually some really good dynamic chemistry. I mean, there's one scene where they're in a bar, and after all the action they went through, it was kind of nice to sit back and relax and watching them hang out in that bar. That was really cool, like, relaxing for them. I know it's hard to say because this movie is mainly a comedy, but yeah. And speaking of that, although this movie's mainly a comedy, this movie actually has a few decent, sentimental, sincere, serious, and genuine moments that the characters bond with each other and their own struggles and tribulations that I personally can't help but root for them. honestly, all of the praises that I've mentioned of the movie so far, they are all connected to the writing and the direction by Guardians of the Galaxy director James Gunn. Wow, James, you have a huge passion of writing superhero comedy movies, and R-rated superhero comedy movies as well, because he kind of made a superhero comedy spoof film back in 2010 called Super, which I have not seen, but it proves that he had a experience with making superhero R-rated comedy movies, and at the moment it's nowhere more spotlight than in the Suicide Squad, because it seemed like he was so passionate about the project that he was having so much fun writing the jokes that we have seen in not only comedy movies but in superhero comedy movies. But you know what? He's aware that he's making so many dumb jokes but he just doesn't care. He just loves them and just pits out whatever he can. And I loved his direction. I cannot wait to see more R-rated superhero movies with him. Remember when I said that the humour adds to the R rating of the movie? Well, that's also attributed to the action sequences, because these action sequences are bloody, they are intense, they are fun, they are exhilarating, fast and all that. The characters make some very good poses and karate fight moves and styles that adds to the exotic personalities of their characters. And speaking of the action, the one thing that I have to give major props for with this movie, which is in my opinion the coolest aspect of the movie that I'm going to give for this movie, is for its climax. That has got to be probably the second coolest climax I have seen this year. I mean, after Zack Snyder's Justice League, this movie's final climax is so much fun, and it kept me on the edge of my seat wondering what's going to happen next. And the main threat is so perfect for this type of movie. I won't give it away, but yeah, it's a good payoff. And it just made me want to go see the movie again just to experience everything that I've seen before. Now, it's pretty obvious to the audience of this review that I absolutely love the Suicide Squad. I mean, I've made it pretty clear from the get-go for most of this review. But I do have a few little problems with the movie. It's hard to say if they're problems or not, because sometimes they feel like nitpicks, but sometimes they do feel like, yeah, that is a problem with the movie. First of all, it starts off a little bit clunky. I don't know, because they just suddenly add these characters into the mix, and then all of a sudden they just keep going away and all that. And the pacing does get a little bit like clunky throughout the movie. Like, remember when I said that I absolutely loved Harley Quinn in this movie? I totally stand by that statement. But at first, suddenly she's away for like 10 minutes or 5 minutes, and then she's suddenly back in the story for about 3 to 4 minutes, and then she's gone away again. She felt a bit like shoehorned in sometimes, but that suddenly improved in the second half of the movie. And I will admit that while I think the climax and the third act was perfect in almost every single way, I will admit that the ending does go on a bit too long, because it seemed like the movie's going to end at one point and then it's going to be a cliffhanger and then it's going to end up in the next movie, which I would have been totally on board with, because I wanted to see another Suicide Squad movies with these characters, which I'm pretty sure we'll still get, but then it goes on for another 10 to 20 minutes. So yeah, I will admit that the movie does have a few pacing issues, but still, that climax is amazing, and it's totally awesome. It's intense, it's exhilarating, it's hilarious, and you're totally on the character's side. And it does throw in a few betrayals, twists, turns, big reveals, secrets that honestly kind of shocked me. Those were nitpicks. I wouldn't find anything wrong with this movie. Sure, there are a few little nitpicks and problems I had, but this movie might have been like the most fun I've had in 2021 since Zack Snyder's Justice League, which is kind of a shame because they're both in the DCEU, but still, this movie was totally not what I expected, because the Suicide Squad is almost a perfect movie. It was exhilarating throughout. It was fun. It was thrilling. It was freaking hilarious. The characters are awesome. The actors seem like they are having balls of joy in the role. And the second half of this movie is where the movie is at its best. And I don't really know what to give this movie as a grade, because I think I might have to give it a 4.9 out of 5, like a 4 3/4 star out of 5. It almost got to a 5, but because of those small problems, it did kind of weigh it down. But still, this movie almost perfect, and that ending, even though it was long, just made me want to go see the movie again. I want another The Suicide Squad movie right now. I cannot wait to see the film again. I honestly cannot wait to see this movie again, and I think I might have to watch the original Suicide Squad movie since I haven't seen it in a while. And I totally get why this movie is called The Suicide Squad, because if you just have a title, Suicide Squad, it means it's just a good movie. But The Suicide Squad means it's the proper Suicide Squad movie that we all needed like 5 years ago. But anyway, if you did manage to see this movie, what do you think of it? Do you think it's freaking awesome like I do? Do you think it's the most fun you've had in the cinema? Or did you not like it and it was boring and it was annoying? And I honestly don't know why. And who is your new favourite member of the Suicide Squad in this movie, at least? Let me know in the comment section below, and don't forget to comment, share, like, and click the bell notification so you don't miss out on a single video, because I will say peace out, man, but I do have to say this for my send-off. Any day you don't do all those things that I just said, people are gonna pay. Starting with some of the people that are watching this video right now, because I will make you pay if you don't share this video with all your friends and family. I'm the man of my words.